Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 5th episode of Live with Google for Nonprofits. If you're joining us for the first time, Live with Google for Nonprofits is a twice monthly show on Thursdays held at different time zones. And basically, we have a special guest presentation every week based off topics that you've requested, including deep dives into things like applied digital skills, which is a free training to grow your digital skills, or things like managing your inbox. So every other week, we host these presentations, including sometimes we also introduce our team. So thank you so much for joining us today. As a reminder, you can use the live chat that's on the right of your YouTube video at this link, and you can ask questions. You can let us know if, hey, like you can't hear us, any sort of technical difficulties, let us know, and we'll make sure to troubleshoot it and answer your questions. My teammates are in the live chat right now, ready to answer any questions that you may have. And at the end of our presentation today, we'll also have time for live Q&A, in which we'll take some of the questions asked in the chat, and we will ask them live and answer them for you. So a few other reminders. If you are not seeing the live chat right now, then make sure to refresh your browser, and then it should load at that point. There should be closed captions available as well. If they are not there, let us know, and we'll make sure that they are uploaded after the event. A few other things, this session will be recorded. So if you happen to need to go to do something else, or you want to come back and rewatch it later, at this exact YouTube link, you can actually rewatch this episode, and you can replay the live chat and see which questions were answered, just in case you have similar questions too. So a few other things. So like I said, this show happens every 2 weeks, usually on Thursdays. And if you want to join us for future episodes, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get notifications when we upload and schedule new episodes. Follow us on our social feeds. We'll put up some links later for you, and you can keep up to date with new opportunities to get to learn more about Google for Nonprofits and to interact with our team live. So in the last couple episodes, we talked about a bunch of things. So one thing that we talked about that's extremely relevant to today is applied digital skills. So today we'll be talking about the online marketing challenge, which is a way to basically partner with students to help set up and develop your ad grants account. But we know getting started with ad grants has a lot of steps, and it isn't always an easy process. So we've developed additional trainings through applied digital skills. So the first episode of Live with Google for Nonprofits, you'll hear from Rebecca from the Live with Google for Nonprofits for the applied digital skills team, and she'll talk you through getting your ad grants account up and running. So you can also use that as a way before getting started with online marketing challenge to get familiar with ad grants. But I'm super excited today to have Jenny with us. So I'll bring her on screen shortly, and she'll be giving us a deep dive into this awesome opportunity to really have students immerse themselves into your digital marketing and to make the most of your ad grants campaigns. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right, Jenny.
Thank you, Isha. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Weiss. I am a program manager on the Google Ad Grants team. And as Isha mentioned, I am here to give an overview this morning of the Online Marketing Challenge, which is a great free program for nonprofits that we run as part of the Ad Grants program. Before we go on any further, though, I want to point out that we'll actually be renaming the Online Marketing Challenge sometime this month to the Nonprofit Marketing Immersion. So keep an eye out for that change. So what is the Online Marketing Challenge? So OMC, as we call it, is a unique program that matches university students who are studying digital marketing to nonprofits who need extra support with their ad grants accounts. So when you participate in OMC, you're not only getting free account support for your nonprofit, but you're also promoting valuable skills, digital skills development for students. So many of you may be familiar already with the Ad Grants program, but for those who are not, I wanted to spend a minute just talking about the program because in order to participate in the Online Marketing Challenge, you actually have to have an active Ad Grants account. So Ad Grants is nearly an 18-year-old program under Google, and we've given over $10 billion in free Google Ads to nonprofits since our inception. And the way it works is qualifying nonprofits receive $10,000 in Google search ad credit each month, every month. There's no expiration. And the good news is if you're already approved for Google for Nonprofits, you're halfway there. You're likely very eligible to sign up for ad grants. So if your nonprofit has not yet taken advantage of ad grants, you can learn more and sign up at Google.com/grants. So once you have registered for ad grants, you are then eligible to participate in the Online Marketing Challenge. So the first thing you'll have to do is register for OMC, and we'll provide the registration form link in the chat box in the description for this video. So once you've registered for OMC, we will match you to a student team that has passed all the Google Ads certification exams. And these student teams, by the way, are college or university students, and many of them are graduate students. So the first thing you'll do once you've been matched is you'll meet with your student team virtually and give them a sense of your overall marketing goals, what you want to achieve. Do you want to get newsletter signups? Do you want to attract new donors? Do you want to just increase awareness about your mission? Sharing those goals with your students will help them build campaigns in your account that will help you achieve those goals. So you'll have to allow the students access to your ad grants account, and they will create and run campaigns in your account for at least 4 weeks, as well as optimize and make tweaks to your ads and keywords and all of that. And then at the end of the program, you'll receive a post-campaign report that kind of summarizes the performance of the campaigns and provides you with future recommendations so that you can continue to thrive after the program is over. So I wanted to just give 2 quick case studies from nonprofits who have gone through the Online Marketing Challenge and have had success. And the first example I want to share is from an organization called Rails to Trails Conservancy, and they're based here in the US in Washington, DC. And their mission is really to promote trail usage and get people out biking and hiking and using trails outside. And their mission has been more important than ever this past year during COVID. Their goal was really to increase trail usage during COVID and get people out of their houses during the pandemic. And so during the campaign period where they were matched with a student team, they worked with a team from Columbia University in New York City. The student team increased their ad clicks by 9 times and increased their trail use, for the organization by 128%, and also increased click-through rate by 3x. So this was a great partnership, and it resulted in many more people getting outside and using trails. So another example is from Hear No Evil Deaf Dog Rescue in Australia. And their goal was really to recruit volunteers to be fosters for their special needs dogs that they rescue. And so during the campaign period, their student team, they were matched to a team in India, by the way. Their student team increased the conversion rate by 4 times, and they increased volunteer signups by 60%, which was the whole goal of their engagement, was to get more volunteers and more fosters for their dogs. And they were really proud that during the campaign period, they received 31 Contact Us form submissions, which was their highest ever in a month. So from these examples, hopefully you can see the real impact that the students have for these nonprofits in helping to get the word out about their mission. And these are just 2 examples of many satisfied teams that have worked together as part of this program. So I gave you a little bit of a taste of it in those 2 examples, but we are a global program. Since the program has started running, we've had 31 different languages spoken in our program and 71 different countries represented. So we are very, very international. But that being said, the 5 most common countries where students come from are the US, India, Canada, Germany, and the UK. And we have more than 1,000 nonprofits participate in this program every year. I also want to do a quick shout out. If you are listening and you're a nonprofit from France, or you just happen to speak French or Dutch or German, please sign up. We're looking especially for you right now to match with our student teams from that speak those languages. But any language and country is always welcome to apply. So this is a program timeline overview for nonprofits that participate. I just want to give you a sense of what to expect when you sign up for this program. It's not a short program. It requires a little bit of time commitment from you, but hopefully that results in better outcomes for your organization anyway than a short engagement would. So there's kind of two pieces to it. There's pre-OMC and then active OMC. The pre-OMC is just the getting registered and getting matched. And I do want to say that the matching is entirely dependent on student availability. So we can match you sometimes in one day if there's a lot of students who meet your language and time zone criteria, or it sometimes may take up to a month to get matched. That's totally normal. It just depends on how many students we have available at the time. So once you've been matched, the first thing you'll do, as I mentioned earlier, is you'll hold a kickoff meeting with your team, and that's when you'll get to know each other and kind of share your marketing goals with your student team. And they'll create a pre-campaign report for you that outlines what they plan to do in your account. And then after that, they'll actually build the campaigns in your account, and they should be communicating with you throughout the process. But it takes a little bit of time to get the account set up and accounts linked and all that before they actually build the accounts or build the campaign, excuse me. And then the students will run campaigns for at least 4 weeks in your account. Sometimes if you're jiving really well with your student team and you want to keep going and both parties are keen to keep working together, you can certainly go beyond 4 weeks. That's totally fine with us. But once they've run campaigns for at least 4 weeks, they're supposed to provide you with a post-campaign report that I mentioned earlier that will detail what the performance of your ads was and what future recommendations look like. And then you'll wrap up with a closing meeting, and we just ask that you fill out the post-OMC survey so that the student team can get a certificate of completion. So overall, you're looking at like 8 to 10 weeks of active OMC once you've been matched. And just really quickly, what we expect from you as nonprofits participating in this program, we really ask that you respond in a timely manner to student emails and requests. And by that, we mean like 2 business days. And the reason this is important is because a lot of the students that participate in OMC do so as part of a formal class, and a lot of them are graded assignments. So if they're waiting a week or 2 to hear back from you, it really pushes back their timing, and they aren't able to finish their project during the semester. So that's why we really stress that. As part of this program, you will have to grant access to your account to the student team for about 8 weeks. And the way that you do that is the students will create a Google Ads Manager account, and they'll link it with your AdGrants account. And you have full right to revoke student team access at any point if you deem it necessary. And you'll just have to agree on guidelines with the student team around working in your account. And ideally, what you'll allow the team to do, if it's not already set up, will allow the team to help you set up conversion tracking, which is one of the things that we really stress as part of our AdGrants program. So that will hopefully be something that you can accomplish through the OMC as well. Okay, so now you've heard all about the program, and if you're interested in registering, here is how you do so. So again, like I mentioned before, you do have to have an active AdGrants account in order to participate in OMC. So if you don't already have one, make sure you go sign up at google.com/grants. And then once you are registered for AdGrants, you can then register for OMC. And again, there should be a link in the chat box or in the description for this video to sign up for OMC specifically. And again, just a quick note again that it can take anywhere from 1 day to 1 month to get matched. Typically on average, it's about 1 to 2 weeks, but we like to let you be aware that it could take up to a month. The other thing I want to point out is that there is no deadline to apply, and this program runs year round. The only thing that we need to point out is that generally there's more students available between now, mid-January to May, and August to November, and that really follows the school calendar pretty closely. However, we do have students that participate in the summer and over the holidays. So really any time is a good time to participate. But right now is a really good time to sign up because there are a lot of students coming back to school after winter break. So this is just a quick slide to share some additional details about ad grant support. If you need help getting set up with ad grants, you can go to our website or our help center. You can also ask questions in the community forum for Google for Nonprofits, and you can sign up. You can sign up for the Google for Nonprofits newsletter in your Google for Nonprofits hub, and that will keep you informed of future events. So you can use all of these methods to keep in touch with us to learn more. So that's it from me. I'm going to turn it back to Isha, and we'll transition to the Q&A portion. Thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Jenny. That was a super helpful overview. We definitely have quite a few questions, and I'm going to give everybody just a few more minutes to write any other questions that they have in their live chat. In the meantime, I have a few reminders for everybody. So if you're looking for more general Google for Nonprofits support, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have a lot of tutorials like Intro to Google for Nonprofits, activating products, things like that. This show is meant to be a deep dive into specific topics, while our general tutorials are available on our YouTube channel as well. And then make sure to follow us on social channels to get up to date on what the new topics of this show, as well as new resources and new product updates for Google for Nonprofits. We also share a lot of nonprofit stories on our channel. So if you're looking to be inspired and how other nonprofits are achieving their goals and having an impact in their community, check out our social channels. We also have a community forum. So at this link, you can go and you can post your questions to the Google for Nonprofits community. Members of our team, as well as members of the overall Google for Nonprofits community, will answer it. And if you see questions there that you know the answers to, we highly recommend that you go ahead and respond to your fellow Google for Nonprofits community, as it's a great way to learn from one another and really get to know how other people are really using these Google tools and technology in general. Also, we do have a survey that you can fill out at any point during the show. So this is the link to the survey. You can let us know what you think. You can give us specific feedback of how to improve this show too. We're always looking to really improve our episodes and to make sure that every episode gets better and better. So please take the survey and let us know what you think, what you liked, what you didn't like. And you can also suggest what topics you'd like us to cover. So if there's something that you really want to learn more about, maybe it's Google Analytics, maybe it's Google Sites, any other types of Google products, or if there's other nonprofit partners that you want to hear from, we can bring in a lot of different types of people to this show. And if you have a story to share, if you have a success story with using technology to really make an impact in your community and you want to share that on the show, let us know in this survey as well. We'd be happy to bring on members of our community to this live show. So fill out the survey. Our next episode is on January 28th. And if you have a specific topic in mind that you want us to cover, you can go ahead and fill out the survey and let us know. So I think we have a good amount of questions that we'll cover about OMC. So thank you again, Jenny, for joining us. We're really happy to have you here. So we saw this question pop up a few times, and we also did answer in chat. But just to remind everybody, is there any cost associated to joining OMC?
There is no cost. There's no cost to the program, and there's no cost to sign up for ad grants either. So it's a completely free program for everyone involved.
Okay, that's great to know. And then we also saw a couple people ask if it's located in their region, but it's a global program, correct?
It is a global program. Typically, like I mentioned before, so you'll have a little bit harder time getting matched if you're from a country where a lot of students are not from, because we try to match you with students that speak your language and are in your time zone or country. And if we can't do that, sometimes we'll end up matching students from somewhere in Europe that speaks English to a different country in Europe that also speaks English. So it's a entirely dependent on student availability, but yes, you can apply from any country as long as you have an active AdGrants account.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think there was a specific question of, do you offer support in Spanish or other languages? And it sounds like the answer is yes. So assuming student availability.
Yeah, I will say on the support, we run our support in English. So you can communicate with your student team in your native language, but if you contact Google, our OMC support line, it is in English. Just want to point that out.
That's good to know. Yeah. And then what happens after the OMC program for nonprofits who join OMC?
Yeah, so after the OMC is over, you can unlink your account from the student's Google Ads Manager account. And what you can do if you've had a great experience and you want to be rematched to a different student team, you can reapply, and there's no limit to the amount of teams you can work with through OMC. So you can either continue on your own and just use the recommendations that your team shared with you, or you can reapply to participate again.
Okay. That's good to know as well. And so I think somebody asked as well, do they need to know about AdGrants before applying?
No, you don't. There's varying levels of familiarity with AdGrants as part of this program. Some grantees they've literally just set up their account and they're looking for help on setting up their very first campaign. That's totally fine. Or there's nonprofits who have been on the AdGrants platform for many years and they just need help optimizing and really driving performance for their existing campaigns. So it really runs the gamut. And there's no requirement that you have to be really familiar with AdGrants to participate.
Okay, awesome. And then I think William also asked us, just curious, what is the experience from the student side? Is Google Ads certification part of the bigger program or standalone? And are they learning via their schools?
Yeah, so this also runs the gamut. We have a lot of professors actually, because this is a 10-year-old program. So we have a lot of professors who bake OMC into their curriculum. And so they teach to OMC and they teach Google Ads very in depth. So we have really strong digital marketing professors. And we also have students who are just kind of in a marketing club or they're interested in digital marketing and they want to learn more. So they take the exams and they get matched to a nonprofit. So it's really, there's really a wide variety of types of students that participate, but a lot of them, I would say the vast majority do so as part of a graded course. So there's some accountability there that they kind of need to work with a nonprofit as part of their class. But it's great because it's a wonderful way for them to get hands-on experiential learning that supplements what they actually learn in the classroom. So they get to actually kind of build campaigns and do that for your nonprofit as opposed to just learning about it in school and not ever getting to really practice on a real account.
Okay, that's good to know. I think, so Jason also had a similar question, Jason King. He said, are OMC accounts subject to the same compliance rules as other accounts? And then what happens if students make mistakes regarding the policies?
Yes. Hi, Jason. So yes, they are subject to the same exact compliance rules as other accounts. And unfortunately, there are times where, students are learning, so they make and lots of nonprofits make the same mistakes too. It's a really tricky platform sometimes to get the compliance rules really nailed down. So unfortunately, they have to go through the same kind of process that a normal nonprofit would have to go through if they're running into ads not showing or disapprovals or things like that. But we have our support request form that we encourage students and nonprofits to fill out if they have problems, and we can redirect them to the right support channel that can help them unblock their situation.
Okay. And then one more question that we got a bit earlier was, can you describe again what the students actually do in terms of managing accounts? Like, let's talk a little bit more about that one more time, just to make sure everyone is clear.
For sure. Yeah. So the students will first learn about your organization's marketing goals in the kickoff meeting. And that's really important because we want to make sure they actually build campaigns and ads that, meet your goals and really help you achieve what you want to achieve with ad grants. So once they have a good understanding of that, they'll actually build campaigns in the account. And you'll kind of work with them to share, if you have an upcoming event, for example, that you want to promote, work with them to kind of develop the ad copy around that event and the links to where to buy tickets, for example, and they'll produce ads around that topic for you. And they'll come up with all the keywords and all the ad copy and all that. And then once the ads have been running, their job is to optimize them and figure out, are they, what kind of clicks are they getting? What's the click-through rate? How many conversions are you getting? And if those numbers aren't good enough, they'll, make tweaks and adjustments so that your ads are performing better. So that's really the gist of what the students are doing in the account. And you can work with them to kind of identify what you want to promote and what you, how you want to allocate the budget for certain ads, things like that. So it's really meant to be a partnership between the nonprofit and the student team.
Okay, that's also very helpful information. One more question that I saw that I think could be helpful for the wider group watching is about the time commitment involved. So Joanne asked, how much time per day or week would it be when you're joining the program? What kind of commitment is it for the nonprofit? I know nonprofits are super busy, usually limited staff and lots of work. So I guess how much commitment would we expect from them to be part of the program?
Yeah, it's fairly minimal time commitment. The students are really supposed to be driving the nitty-gritty stuff in the account. You're not supposed to be responsible for that as a nonprofit. But that being said, we have found that the most successful teams that work on the OMC kind of dedicate the time to work with the team and really kind of make it a partnership and a collaboration. And so that does take, it depends on, it's a case-by-case basis. It depends on what kind of ads you're trying to run. But the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it probably, because the more you spend time sharing your goals with the student team, the more they'll understand what you want and the better that the ads will perform. So, but I would expect at a minimum, a couple hours a week that you're spending just responding to emails and making sure that the student team has what they need. But it's not a heavy lift from the nonprofit side.
Okay, that's great. I think especially for those nonprofits who are looking to get started with ad grants and don't have a lot of ads experience, it sounds like this is an amazing way to have a dedicated team, just really help them develop and run their campaigns and achieve their goals. So, and it's a great way to help students as well. To learn more about it. So it's a win-win. I'm just going to check to see if there are any other questions before we wrap up here. Oh, one more from Daniel. So is there a way to allow students from different schools to be on the same team?
Yes, we see that quite often, actually. So technically, you just have to sign up through a registered professor, but any student can register under that professor. We only ask that at least one student from that team is from the same school as the professor. And then you can add additional team members from other schools. That's not a problem at all.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I think those are all of the questions we had today. And one more that I just saw pop up. So those of us who already use the program, can we apply again? I think you might answer this, but let's answer it one more time so everybody knows.
Absolutely. Yes. We love to have repeat grantees participate, and there's really no limit to the amount of times you can sign up and be paired with another student team.
Okay, awesome. And then I actually see one more question. We'll just go ahead and make sure all these questions get answered before we wrap up. I want to make sure that everyone feels like they know what they need to know to get started with the program. How do we go about getting students to work within our ad grants? So basically, how do we give them access?
Oh, yes. So we give the students instructions on how to do that. They'll take care of sending you a account link request through their Google Ads Manager account. And all you'll have to do is just accept their request and grant them access. And they'll be able to also make a copy. They should download a copy of your existing ads, by the way, in case you ever want to revert back to the old what you had there before. But it's a very easy process to link and unlink accounts, and we provide the information once the students are registered. They'll have detailed instructions they can share with you.
Awesome. And then I saw in the live chat, our teammates just put in the registration form. So it's in there a couple times in the chat, but that's the link. We'll also update the description on this video to include the registration form in case you have any issues finding it. And I think I think all the questions we've pretty much addressed. If there's anything that anybody watching has more questions and maybe missed some of the slides in the beginning, I definitely recommend you go ahead and rewatch some of the slides. I think Jenny gave a lot of great information in the presentation. I know we answered some of those questions once again here, just to reiterate, but definitely recommend that you can watch this again at any time if you have any questions. And then, yeah, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate it. Just a few more reminders. If you have feedback and let us know, positive, negative, constructive, let us know how we can get better, and make sure to fill out our feedback form. So I'm going to put that link one more time up here so you can go ahead and take a look. And in the meantime, I'm just going to double check to see if there are any other questions that we should answer before ending the stream. Oh, one more person asked, what will the new name of OMC be?
Yeah, so the new name is going to be the Nonprofit Marketing Immersion, and that'll be announced sometime this month.
Awesome. And we're actually going to rename this YouTube video as well to Nonprofit Marketing Immersion. So if you're searching for it later, as soon as the name changes, the name of this tutorial will also change. So just keep a note out about that. And then a few more YouTube reminders. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can stay up to date on these episodes. We cover different topics every week. And if you have ideas for topics, please fill out our survey. That's where we really figure out what makes sense for the show. For example, we had a lot of feedback about getting more help on ad grants, and we know we want to make sure that more people are aware of this program, which is why we brought Jenny. So Jenny, thank you so much for being on board to present and being here today with us. We really appreciate it. And I really encourage all of you who are looking for help on your ad grants campaigns to apply to OMC. The registration link is in the chat, and fill out our survey, and then let us know what you want to hear from us. We're here to help you. So thank you for everything. And thanks, Jenny.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being on, and we hope to see a lot of nonprofits in our program soon.
All right. Thanks again. And then make sure to fill out the survey if you have any feedback. We're going to leave the chat on for just a few more minutes to make sure we wrap up all the questions. And then we'll go ahead and end the stream. And if you want to rewatch it, you can rewatch it at the same link you're watching it now. So thanks again, everybody.